Press the play.
Hello.
Hi.
Mike has topics.
I have a headache.
And
Brady.
I'm good.
That's our podcast. Thank you for coming.
Come on, man. This is the one you said you're prepared for.
No, I didn't. I said I had topic ideas. We don't have to do them all or any of them, but I just thought we should become prepared.
Well, what did you come to today thinking of something you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, what were we just talking about when we were eating the soup?
The elderly. But what else?
No, we were talking about something interesting. And then I was like, no, wait, let's
The opposite of art is censorship?
Oh, okay, yeah. And
Jordan
Peterson's
view on
take on postmodern art. Okay. Yeah, I watched this video like a long time ago, so I might not be getting everything right from my memory, but I remember watching a couple videos about how he felt about, because everyone knows about how he feels about postmodernism in general and how he thinks it's like really destructive, and he gets really upset about it. And especially postmodern art, and that's one of the places where I disagree with him most, is that I think that postmodern art is really important, and I don't think that it's bad for art. I think it's good for art because it's meant to challenge things. Mm-hmm. It's meant to make you... It's meant to be what most people would perceive as the opposite of like aesthetic beauty, and that is put there so that we don't take for granted what we believe in, what we don't take for granted, what we typically think of as like beautiful and like common, because it's like everybody knows, like, I think this is beautiful, and everyone has like this common understanding of what makes art beautiful and stuff, and it's like, but people don't always know why. They don't always think about it, and so when you get something like Dadaism, or that might not even be postmodern, but that's like pre-postmodern.
Well,
but it's like the same kind of mentality. And it's like stuff like that that's very anti-art is meant to make it. It's meant you can learn things about beauty and aesthetics by studying the opposite of it.
I thought postmodernism was about rejecting the modernist idea of one universal truth and one universal beauty.
That's the philosophical part of it, and the artistic movement is part of that. But
bro.
What?
I think I've taken more art history classes on this than you.
You might have. No, I'm saying... I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying the art, that's the general thing, and then like the art part of it is like a section of that.
I don't think postmodern art exists to help you appreciate beauty.
No, it's not supposed to necessarily, but I'm saying that's one of the values of it. That's one of I did say that, but that's not what I mean. What I meant is like, because what I'm trying to go against is Jordan Peterson saying that it's destructive to art and the art world. And I'm like, no, it's not, because it's like, even if you find it ugly or you find it stupid, it's still going to make you think about why you believe other art isn't stupid or isn't ugly. And that may not necessarily be the point in the mind of the artist, because the point is to reject like the tradition that came before it and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to argue is that's the value of it that I see, and not that it's actually hurting art. Because some people will say, like, I even had a friend who said, like, modern art's bad. And by modern art, they meant, like, postmodern art, but, you know, everyone uses the term wrong. Like, if I shit on a canvas and put it on a wall, it's like, they would say, well, if you call that art, then that's taking something like the Mona Lisa and bringing it down. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's true. The Mona Lisa is fine. It didn't change, and people can still appreciate it and still love it. What this does is it expands the definition of art.
This goes back to you talking about how you don't enjoy when people use art as a qualifier.
Yes, exactly. Did we talk about that on the podcast?
No, we were just like laying on my floor or something.
Yeah, because it's like something being art doesn't inherently make it good, and I think that that's an unhealthy way of thinking about it. I think one of the things about art is that, like, if you start drawing lines, people are inevitably going to cross them. It's like the whole reason Dada exists, or I think part of the reason postmodernism exists, is because of people saying this is what art is, and drawing lines and making a definition. And so now you're automatically going to get people who reject that. And there's also like PragerU videos that I've watched that are about like art and modern art and postmodern art and why it's bad, and they're trying to explain like what their theory is that there was even a video called like, why is modern art so bad, and their explanation was that over the years we've become more and more lenient about how we define art, and so it can be anything now, and it's all gone to shit.
Wow.
That was their explanation. And what's wrong with that is that now that you are not helping your own case by trying, and they even said at the end of the video, they said, we need to go back to having a standard for art in order to keep it elevated so that it can inspire people and elevate people or whatever. And it's like, you're hurting your own case, because what you're doing now is you're becoming the curator. You're the one who's saying this is what is art and isn't art. And once you do that, you give someone a reason to defy you.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that's another reason.
And then if you say this is art and this is the only thing art can be, you're stifling any progress that would happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just going to be recycling things that have already been done.
Yeah.
Huh. Well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a wrap.
It's because people like to say that, like, it's like, well, if a shoe on the ground can be art, then anything can be art. And it's like, yeah.
It's like,
It's true.
That's correct. It's up to you whether or not it's stupid. It doesn't change the value of the Mona Lisa.
Absolutely.
Maybe it does in your mind, actually.
But anyway, cool this is what I had on my mind today. That wasn't one of the...
Did you need to plug in?
Yes. Well, I don't need to. I'm at 92%.
Oh, all right.
I'll just
cool.
have it in my hand. I had some other topics. I had a lot. We definitely won't go through them all.
Oh, I got a job.
What?
You did?
Well, I got to walk.
Oh.
Oh, walk?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Dog walker.
We will forgive you this time. Oh, dog walker. That reminds me. Do you want to try the Talk to Transformer website? It's a website where you can make your own Doug Walker fan fiction.
I don't... I'm scared I'll like it too much.
It might be fun. It's an AI.
Ooh.
And I want to jump on the bandwagon.
With grime.
Touched my toes.
Talk to Transformer.
Talk to Transformer.
Here I go, swiveling my microphone.
Oh, you know. This has been a thing on the internet. And I'm not one for internet trends unless they're cool and I like them.
That's a very good point.
Okay.
Type something in a neural network, we'll guess what comes next.
Yeah, and I think the more you type, the more information you feed it, and the more it has to work on. So if you write like one sentence, it'll do something. If you write like a paragraph, then it'll be able to go back and like redo things. So just try anything.
Oh, that's the worst. 3 ducks were paddling their boats one summer morning.
Now watch the magic happen.
So the sentence I have is 3 ducks were paddling their boats one summer morning.
Take a while.
Oh,
see, it writes a whole story. It does this with like machine learning. It's really cool. Would you like to read this one?
I would.
You have a good narration voice.
Thank you. Completion. Is that the title?
I don't think so.
It's a working title. 3 ducks were paddling their boats one summer morning. Suddenly there was an urgent barking of a dog, and a boy came sprinting up the garden path and fell to the ground in a panic. The mother ducks fled, but the 2 eggs were still in the nest and were lost. I am not sure how they got there, but I would have liked to have heard the mother's response to her offspring not being there, because I think that would have changed the whole outcome. This is all in quotes. When it comes to understanding wildlife behavior, something that is clear, and it goes some way towards answering the question. What have you done?
I don't remember if there's a way to read more of it, or it just kind of cuts off at the end or something.
Well, Michael? Elon Musk's debut album.
What? Do that. No, we should do Jordan Peterson's diss track.
Yes.
That was something we came up with when we were eating soup. But let's see what this is first.
All right. So the prompt is, and this was I don't know. It was one of the options in a drop down.
Pre-made thing.
Well, not normally known for his musical talent, Elon Musk is releasing a debut album. And here's the completion. Blah, blah, blah. Elon Musk is releasing a debut album this year. Musk, a software developer who is Tesla's CEO, is set to release his album called Music for Interstellar Travel in October. Musk will also release a series of songs for his home entertainment channel, YouTube Red, expected to drop next month. Musk, who is also known for hiring some of the best songwriters in the world. just released his first single, Blissed Out, about the experience of discovering autonomous driving technology.
Bliss. And a robot wrote that.
A robot is funnier than both of us combined.
Let's just type in Jordan Peterson's.
I almost wrote Jordan's Peterson.
Jordan Peterson's diss track.
Drops this Friday.
Oh, God.
Did I spell diss wrong?
Maybe it's a hyphen. Maybe it's a... Like, I'm going to diss you.
Disrespect.
It's just a word. It doesn't stand for anything. It just means, like...
No, I spelled it right. I
just
thought it
means,
was
like...
short for disrespect.
Oh, is it?
Oh, well, now we're looking up...
I didn't know that. That would make sense.
Etymology. Disrespect.
Oh, I never figured that
1980s. Wow.
out.
Cool.
That makes sense.
Jordan Peterson's diss track drops this Friday. Complete text.
Oh boy, this is gonna be good. Okay.
Would you like to?
Sure. Since he's my favorite. Just kidding. Okay. Jordan Peterson's diss track drops this Friday. I figure it's only fair to pay respects to the guy who was one of my favorite writers to write about last year. So, with no further ado, here's the review of the new Peterson release, Tiny Hearts. When I first stumbled across the video for Tiny Hearts, I was struck with a shit-eating grin. It is probably one of the best-looking music videos I have ever seen, and it's really quite unique in its style and content. I actually saw it at the post office and left thinking...
Comma, and then it
That's
ends.
it. So isn't this great?
I was struck with the
Shit-eating grin. I like how it's called Tiny Hearts. It's weird.
3 sizes that day.
Do something about Grinch mouth.
Why not? Yo, my bitch got Grinch mouth.
This is gonna be good.
Grinchy.
Grinchy mouth with a capital, with a hard R.
Shut up.
Grinch with a hard R. What the
Oh my God,
fuck is this? What is this?
What?
Yo, my bitch got Grinch mouth. Free view in iTunes. 202.
It made a podcast.
What the fuck?
It's listing episodes of a podcast.
202 explicit episode 86.
Jeff Murdoch,
Joff
part 1,
Murdoch.
with Amy Joff Murdoch, The Secret Circle, The Lizzie Bennett Diaries.
What the
Free
flying...
view in iTunes.
That's weird. Wait, okay, but it's not the same every time. So if you do it another with the same sentence, it'll make a whole other thing.
Doug Nickerson.
Is that a real person?
I don't know.
That's weird. Sounds like Jack Nicholson.
Yo, my bitch got Grinch mouth on me.
Why are these all weird? This is
Picard, Captain's Log.
Star Trek. Picard, Captain's Log, Stardate 5 whatever.
50695.2.
The Enterprise has What does that have to do with anything? It doesn't have anything to do with yo, my bitch got Grinch mouth on me. Picard, and now it turns into Star Trek. That's weird. Try one more. I want to see if it comes up with anything good.
We gave it so little.
That's true. Okay. It's writing a rap. It's writing a song now. Okay.
No, I don't want to read this.
No, I'll do it. Okay. This is an actual song. What does GG mean?
Good game.
Oh. Yo,
I don't know.
Yo,
No.
my bitch got Grinch mouth. Bitch up in my dick pussy. You know you want me to let you come. Fuck right. You're my bitch now. Come inside my hole, bitch.
A robot wants this, Mike.
This isn't a song. This is like a porn.
Yeah.
It's a porn script.
It's writing a rap.
Fuck yes, I like that. More of my pussy eating, good boy. That's right. Come. Fuck, now he's coming. My pussy is ready for your load.
Oh no.
This video is. That's it. That was incredible.
Is it hot in here?
Or am I just fucking hot?
Generate another.
Okay, this is interesting.
3x5.
These are all like the worst ones I've ever seen. Hi, I'm Plato with all my usual chills, said the actual cop, and the image of Grinch morphed in his head.
She may be from the U.S., but she eats chills like they're a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, said a racist cop to his audience. Can you see his bottom teeth?
Goldschmidt bully? Wait, Goldschmidt bully, said the racist cop.
Jingle. Is that a bronze opera statue in any of the dozen states I'm in? This is the best one.
This guy's having schizophrenia or something.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay, wait. Let's at least do something with Doug Walker. Say Doug Walker is getting shorter. I sent this to Brady once. I accidentally made Doug Walker incest rape porn.
Underaged even.
Yes, no less.
Oh my god.
Doug, this is really short. Doug Walker is getting shorter and thinner, and I feel for him. If his knees start to give out, I think he will have trouble playing football.
It's a good place to stop.
Okay.
Oh god. Well, that was one item off the list.
Sure.
Bully. Let's keep going.
Okay. Let's see what else. I've got a lot. Oh, that's a picture of me. Wait a minute.
That's not a topic. I simply won't hear of it.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I'll go
Sit.
next to Michael.
And converse.
And be fit. Anyway.
Let's see.
Pull
Here,
out the topic list,
Kyle,
'cause
I'll have
I'm-
you pick the next
I'm
topic.
feeling dry tonight.
Okay.
I don't know. I got nothing.
These are all the things I came up with.
Wait, I
Most
wanna
of them
see
are
that.
bad.
I didn't even get very far.
I don't even remember what some of them mean.
Incels, posturing and death, depression.
Oh, we could talk about that.
You good? No, I don't want to.
Depression?
Problem with people who have depression that is not apparently debilitating but still makes their lives miserable.
Oh, yeah, I thought of that. I don't remember what my take
The Great
was.
Satan at Large?
Oh, yeah!
I feel as though this might be an interesting
Yeah,
thing.
no, it is interesting. I was texting you about that.
I'm not seeing where's my.
Butthole camera.
Oh, I was just thinking that was
Colonoscopy?
no, that was something I was thinking of before I went to sleep. I was like, has anyone ever done a video where it's like the point of view of looking outside your butt? Like someone puts a camera in your butt to look outward?
That must be very boring because
But it's never been done before.
Pants, Michael.
What?
there's pants.
And
well,
underwear
I was
in the
thinking
way.
without those things. As if in the nude, as some say.
Pima pants. Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, then now we've gone full circle.
Yeah, so we wanted to know why. Are we in Pima County?
Yeah.
Why are there no jokes about Pima pants?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the whole
You could start the trend.
that's the whole
Maybe
bit. What
that's
would we
we'll
do? Mike, how?
Start graffitiing it.
We put it on a
on
podcast.
the-
Oh,
Oh, let's do it.
No,
Pima
don't.
pants.
I'm down for vandalism.
I'm
of
down for
government property.
light vandalism. Can I tell you a fun experience?
Vandalism light. L-I-T.
It doesn't take up as much space on your phone that way. Anyway, can I
I
tell you
do.
a fun experience that I had over when I was in Phoenix over the weekend?
Yeah.
It was just very it was like a very crazy half hour.
Ooh.
I got to my house and nobody was there and I let myself in.
Sounds like fun.
Mhm. You know what's up. I went for a walk. Yeah. And I walked around and
We did that today too.
yeah, I've been walking a lot. Anyway, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking around. I walked to this park near my house that I've been going to for years because it's just, well, I went to school on the other side of the fence. This park is attached to that like whole school area, but that's not important. I went there and I was walking around. It was really pleasant, and I saw a tree, and I was like, "Shit, dude, I need to draw this tree."
Ah.
And so I did the like ham bone thing where I was like, "Where's my sketchbook? I don't have it." And then I went. It had just rained. I went and grabbed a lumpy, soggy piece of charcoal briquette from the communal grills that they have around in public parks. And I just sort of like went down on all fours and started scrawling on the
That's so
pavement,
cool.
drawing this tree, and it was
I
like
love
crumbling,
that.
and it was nice out.
I don't usually get that.
And then I
urge.
got up, I was like, and all my hands were black,
That
and I
is
was like,
such a-
I need more trees.
That is such a weird. I love that feeling. It's
And
like
then
being
it-
high.
Yeah, and I went and I was like, ooh, more pavement. And I went over and I started just drawing on pavement. I was going to every little grill thing and taking out the largest piece of charcoal
That
I
is
could
an
find.
artist moment.
It was a real artist moment.
And
And
I usually don't get like the. Wait, everyone, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, at one point I found a rock and I like scratched
Oh.
some into it, so it might still be there. I don't know.
I don't usually get the like I see something and I want to draw it, but it's usually like I come up with an idea and I'm like, oh, I want to make this now. And
I
then
was-
go into like that hyper mode.
I was just obsessed with like the feeling of drawing. I was like, I need to do it.
Yeah, I get that too.
And anyway, I did that, and then I was getting warmer and warmer. It was like low 50s out.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool, and I had a jacket on, and I like peeled it off, and I was like drawing more and more frantically and larger. And
Oh, cool.
dude on a bike went by, and I like scooted off the path so he could go by. And he sort of just looked at the weird lumps I was scrawling. Yeah. And so I was standing there, and I stood up, and I like got really dizzy and nauseous. And I got super queasy, and I was like, huh. So I was like peeling off my jacket, walking over to the drinking fountain, and I got some water. And then I like walked home, opened up the fridge, because in the time it took me to walk home, I got so hungry. And I just started eating everything I could. Wow. Half an old Reuben sandwich, pickles, just straight sour cream.
I love that. That's awesome.
And then I fell asleep.
That is actually what it's like to be an artist. It's not a glamorous lifestyle.
And then I fell asleep for like 2 hours, and then
Sounds pretty glamorous.
And then I went to meet Kaya to meet my parents with. Oh. And that was my day.
Wow, that sounds like a great day.
It was so weird.
That's cool. I love those like hyper art things.
Yeah, but that was like the full range of human experience right there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's always.
I felt like such a freak.
I love it when I have that. When you do what?
Oh, I like the posturing one, but we can finish this conversation.
We talk about that a lot.
We do. It's just been on my mind a lot lately. I don't. And posturing and death specifically was like this weird epiphany that I came to, because in the last podcast we talked about like scary existential stuff, like, well, what's the point of doing anything if everything is just gonna like collapse in the heat death of the universe and no one will be around to remember anything? And it's like, then I realize, well, the fact that it's not everlasting is what gives it value. Mm-hmm. And so I was thinking about that can tell you when you are doing something because you love it, or if you're doing something because of posturing, like of how you want people to perceive you. Because it's like, if you're really doing things like seizing the moment and saying like, I want to do this because I'm not going to have all the time in my life, and that's what makes it valuable, then you're going to want to do the things that you really love. And so when you think about that, it's like, okay, well, now I can think about this other thing I've been doing or a way I've been behaving and think like, oh, wait, maybe that's not really going to be that important. It's just a waste of time or something. You know, it's a way to learn about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of made an original character based off of that.
Really?
Mm-hmm, that concept. Cool. Yeah, I made it was for D&D, and I made a wood elf that like lived in this community that had kind of, after like this great war, sworn off. Oh my gosh, I talk so much softer than you do. Okay, well, whatever.
I talk louder than you. That's how it goes.
But anyways, they'd kind of like sworn off society and lived in just like this very comfortable life because they were like elves and could feed themselves, and just kind of like had this insular community where they lived up to 800 years old.
Oh, cool.
And so like everyone was around forever, and there was no need to do anything, and they kind of just lived and like let the days pass on. And
that's
like,
interesting.
because especially in D&D, elves don't even sleep, they trance.
Oh.
So it was just like my OC thought of like this community as just kind of like this this constant state of trance that her like family and community was living in, and she like wanted to break free, and then through that like she died because, you know, tragic backstories, and then was brought back to life to like worship the goddess of death, and like and like that's how she found and that's why she worshipped it, is because she found like meaning through death, and why she rationalized her tribe and community being the way it is.
Interesting.
Anyways, just thought I'd add that.
No, that is really interesting, I think.
We don't have any OCs, Michael.
You're right.
Anyways.
Do we need some?
No.
Should we stray down that path?
No, but I was thinking about Free Bernie. Sorry, that was very interesting, but the whole time I was thinking of the worst bumper sticker.
Yeah, we want to make a bumper
had.
sticker that says Free Bernie, implying that Bernie is in prison.
Bernie Sanders.
I want to say like Free Bernie 2020 or something, and just confuse people. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Dumpster sticker.
Yeah. That was another thing I accidentally said. We were at that place that you didn't like.
It was all right.
I loved it.
That was our weird time warp episode. We're like, gotta pause.
Oh, that was
and we
that
left
episode.
For 4
I forgot
hours.
about that. Yeah, I liked that. And that's where I ordered a big Sprite, and he was like, we don't have that. So then he brought me two glasses of Sprite.
He was like, can I get you?
The big is what they didn't have, not the Sprite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Mike was like, I'm in the mood for a big Sprite. And the guy was like, we got one size, but I'll get you the biggest one we got. Came back with 2 glasses of Sprite. We tipped that man well.
Delivered. Yeah.
It wasn't his fault he worked at a mediocre establishment. You know what I'm thinking a lot about?
What?
How come we can hear whispers? What are we hearing? What's making the sound? It's not a vocal.
You mean when you're like...
No, whispers. Talking like this. Your vocal cords aren't moving.
Is that really what it is?
I don't think so.
I think it's like air moving through your esophagus, and then it's making different sounds because of the shape of your lips.
Not to make this ASMR.
I mean, it's still the same vibration.
I think they still vibrate.
They probably do a little bit. Nothing ever
Unless...
Speak for yourself.
Sure, like string theory and whatever. Yeah. But,
do they... Am I dumb?
What?
Wait, hold on.
They probably vibrate
No, because less. I touched my throat as I was whispering, and it was like, it was very, very, very faint. Yeah. But I'm sure...
What if that's just the air moving?
Noise.
That's what sound is.
Vibration.
Sound is just the air moving.
And sound is just vibration.
Weird, like, audio takes of us saying, whispering weird nonsense.
I've got them right where I want them.
Well, I guess, because I think... Oops, thank you. I think even when you, like, breathe out, that must disturb your vocal cords a little. Because I can, like, breathe out louder or lower, like, or...
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's got to vibrate them a little. I don't know. A scientist would probably know this.
Good thing we aren't that.
I was once, but no longer.
I was also once into science. And that kind of brings me up to my point that I was thinking of before, because it's like I mean I'm still really interested in science, and I think it is like a part of me. But there was a time where I wanted to be a physicist, where it was like, wow, I'm really interested in this stuff, and then I realized that I wasn't naturally good at it. I wasn't naturally good at math or solving math problems, and I was going through this crisis where I felt like I knew I was good at art, but I didn't understand. I was afraid that art wasn't actually good for anything. I was afraid that I'm just going to do this stuff and it's useless. It's not going to contribute to solving problems in the world, which I don't believe in now. This is like in high school. And so I kind of had this template of the idea of what a scientist was, and then I was trying to fill that template. And so I wasn't being myself anymore, even though it did come from a place of genuine curiosity. And it took me to realize that thing about death, to understand, like, I shouldn't just keep this up. I should be honest with myself. I should stop lying to myself, and I should do what I really love. And then that's when I like quit computer science and decided to go into like actual art.
My art doesn't have a backstory like that.
Well, I don't even know if I would call it the backstory of
it's
art.
cool. It's got a story.
It's just a weird little thing that happened because I always wanted to be an artist, except for like that period of time. Like even when I was like 4 or 5 years old, people asked me what I wanted to do, and I was like always drawing, and I just said I wanted to be an artist. So that's another reason why I look back at that and I'm like, okay, yeah, I think this is what I was wired to be.
Well, I don't know. I guess I don't really agree with like going with what you're naturally good at, because I think the smartest people are the ones who get places through like skill and rigor and technique. Like I think one of the smartest friends I have, her name is Annika. Wait, no, cut the last name. Her name is Annika.
We'll put in something really common like damn it, we have to cut all of this joke out. Fuck.
Well, no, you're not gonna be able to find her.
Oh, we'll just censor the thing that I said too.
Just say your name.
Well, whatever. If I say Annika and then Brady does the joke, even if you figured it, whatever, we cut all this. But what I think is really cool about her is that, like, I mean, she is naturally smart and she is naturally just good at things, but I think like she's a math major right now, and I think just what generally is so fascinating and like awe-inspiring from her is that she puts in the work and puts in the time, because that was like the big difference between us in high school, was that she was willing to do the work, whereas I kind of tried to cruise and failed, and she did really well. And it's not because it came naturally to her. I mean, it did to some degree, but because she just like has that like grit and that tenacity and wants to keep doing.
But does she like math?
Yes.
Well, that's kind of what I'm talking about, because I'm not saying you shouldn't challenge yourself.
It's
that,
not
like, if you have talent,
doing something because you're good at it naturally because it's easy, but
yeah.
doing something because you truly want to.
Yes,
well,
exactly.
yeah, and that's going with the physics, because you really did enjoy physics, but you just weren't naturally good at it. And obviously not saying...
And you probably truly wanted to do art more.
And I did truly want to do art more, and I just felt like, I feel like I can make so much more work and do a better job if I devote myself more to art and just learn about physics and stuff on the side than if I struggle to become a physicist and create mediocre like research and discoveries and things. Because there are some people who are more naturally inclined to that, and I feel like they're the ones who are going to, if they care, on top of that, are going to be the ones who make the big discoveries and who think the best. And I shouldn't lie to myself and tell myself that I'm going to be able to be just like these people when I know in my heart that I'm hardwired for something else.
I don't know. I guess I disagree. I think I agree with the first bit in that, like, you should follow what you want to do and follow your passions. Yeah. I mean, we're all in unemployable majors here, but
exactly, perfect.
But I think you're selling yourself short if you're saying I shouldn't do physics because I won't be as great as the masters or like the geniuses in my class. Because I think anyone can do physics, just like I think anyone can do math or anyone can do art. It just takes time. Like, these are all skills that you have to teach yourself.
But you can't teach yourself to be Einstein.
No, but I do think our history books and the way that we talk about people like glorifies the genius and doesn't include like all of the people who did all of the background work, like going to the moon. Took tons of people who knew how to do calculations and weren't like Einstein.
That's true.
But were smart enough and well educated enough to figure it out.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think one of the other things that's important to talk about is that, like, I never stopped wanting to do art. It's just that I also had this other interest, and it's like, I'm the kind of person who, like, I want to do everything. And another reason I was thinking about this is that I get sad sometimes when I think about death, and I think about, like, how there's all these potential ideas, all these potential works of art that I want to make that I'm never going to be able to make because I can't live that long. And so I had to stop and think, well, am I just thinking that because I want to be known by others as a super creative person who made all these things, and it's like a self-image thing? And maybe I should step away from that and actually just make the art that I really want to, and just have to accept the fact that I will die and I won't be able to make everything, but I know that I will have made the things that my heart told me to make. You know, because it's like when I was in high school, ideally my idea was like, I want to make all this great art and I want to make all these cool discoveries and I want to help people do this and that and stuff. It's like I can't do everything, you know, and part of it is because I wanted to be remembered when I'm dead as someone who did all these great things and helped people, and I have to separate myself from what I want history to remember me as and what my heart genuinely wants to do in the moment, you know.
I had something sort of like that today. Not so much historical, but I was walking around. I talked to Mike about this earlier. I just went on a walk in the middle of class. Like, we have 3-hour classes. We have studios.
I did that at work once.
And we, I don't know. I often get tired of them. And this class in particular, I was already done with the stuff that I needed to do. And the professor's great. So I just sort of cruised out of there. And I was going to come back and do the, like, stuff that we had to do at the end of the class. Whatever. Took a break, and I went and walked around campus because, especially right now, campus is very nice to walk around. It's cool and pleasant out, and it was in the afternoon, and so the sun wasn't quite down yet, but everything was very pretty.
Yeah.
I went and I walked around, and I walked through the library, which is currently under construction, and so I went through this, like, on the bottom floor. They have this entirely drywall tunnel.
Is this the science library?
No, the main library.
Oh.
It's just a drywall tunnel with a bunch of lights. It felt like being in a maze. And my actual thought was corn maze, although there's not a cob in sight. Yeah, we'll go. We'll go to the library maze, which is really just.
I want to go there too, actually. Yeah.
Anyway, I was walking around and I left the maze and I walked out and I was like, boy, that was a fun experience. And I don't know really how to put into words what I was thinking, but I was like, I am really enjoying the memory of that experience right now as much or more as I was walking through the weird space that I didn't usually see.
I love having memories like that.
And I felt this my whole life, but I always just assumed like that was an incomplete enjoyment. And I was like, what if that is the enjoyment?
What do you mean?
What if that just makes me happy? Like having the memories.
Oh, I think about
part
that
of my enjoyment, or it is my enjoyment.
Oh, that's a good point, but I think that's also dangerous sometimes, because what I've experienced is it's like sometimes it's like it's like I know what you mean, and so it's like, well then what's an experience I haven't had and a memory that I want to have? And then you start giving yourself expectations, and then when those expectations fail just because of like the unpredictability of life, it's like you end up feeling disappointed and in pain because of that.
I appreciate that you're both concerned, but that's not what I mean. I do think like that, but this was not the case. This was a case where I was like, I am enjoying simply thinking about that thing that I just did. Not glorifying the memory, but also not thinking about the memory as like, oh, I wish I could go back. It was just like, oh, boy, that was fun.
No, I understand.
So it was less nostalgia and more just reflection?
Yeah, I see.
Just like the pleasure of having a nice memory?
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was no longer like, I wish I could go back. It wasn't like a yearning or like a feeling of incompleteness. Like, I'm enjoying this memory, but I sure would enjoy to do it again instead. Yeah. It was like, no, that was just nice. I have this thought in my head now, and it's fun.
That is interesting.
I feel like that often happens when you like think about friendships or stuff like that. Yeah. There's no need to recreate that like tender moment or whatever.
I feel sad when I think about old friendships though sometimes. I mean, I usually feel good. Like I feel like that way a lot because I feel like after college I'm going to have so many good memories and I feel good about that. But when I think about like old memories from my friends like in elementary school and stuff, for some reason it makes me sad. I don't know why.
Well, it's because part of me is still like, yeah, take me back. I wish I could go back.
It's like this great thing is over now. Mm-hmm. And then there's like...
But it's... It's our first David quote of the episode. Oh. It's like David said, that energy is not something you capture.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Or it's not something you have on hand. It's something that you...
Yeah, what do you say? Like don't capture the energy.
Just give it space to happen.
Yeah, I like that too. That's interesting.
Very zen of him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of like one thing, and I don't even think I've ever told anyone about this really. I'm going to just kind of like therapy spew on live on air.
Spew, Michael.
Like I've never had a relationship with anyone, and I've always had this idealized fantasy of just having a significant other who I can like hold and cuddle and just do things with and have a part of my life. And I've had all these, it's like I want to have those memories. And so I think that my desire to have those memories and then failing to have those actually manifest in my life has been a source of a lot of like pain and disappointment because of that. And so I think what I'm thinking is maybe it's not so healthy to want to do things because of the memory instead of wanting to do things just because of the thing itself.
That is exactly what I was thinking. I was just thinking about how much of the things that I've done in my life, how often I've thought, I really want to do this or I really don't want to do this, versus this will be a good memory or this won't be a good memory. Yeah. And it's weird how much weight the memory aspect carries.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, memories last longer, but I don't know, especially talking about like romantic relationships. I think after breakup, generally if it's like not the most beautiful, amicable breakup, you have to train yourself to not like think on those memories, kind of like obviously not like erase it from your brain, but it's like very far in between the times that I remember my boyfriend from high school. Because when I first broke up, I would always think about him because that's how my brain was working when I was dating him. It's like I would think of things that reminded me of him. I would like things would be associated with him, kind of like Brady, like stuff associates with Brady now.
I had a similar experience. Even though I never had a relationship, I did have a prom date, and I liked her a lot. And then I moved immediately after that year. That was for the senior prom. And she was just my friend. But then I just felt really sad and empty afterward, and things would remind me of her, and then I would like long for her and feel like bad nostalgia, you know.
Yeah, and so I just think
I believe that's called regret.
Well, I didn't feel like regret.
Bad nostalgia.
It didn't feel like it was up to me. I feel like regret
Longing.
happens when it's regret is like when you feel like you could have done something and didn't. We can share in the middle.
Oh my gosh, hello. I know we've been battling over this mic this entire time.
We need to get 3.
No.
I'll get a 3.
You buy it this time.
Okay.
Brady has realized the amount of money he spent on audio equipment, and then continued to buy new headphones.
Oh, you gotta out me like that.
It's very cute.
It's not.
It's cute when you use money irresponsibly.
Yeah, financial.
But you have a passion that you know a lot about.
And spend a lot on.
Anyways, going back to this memory, I think romantic memories, at least on my part, and I think on my like friends that I've known who have had ex-boyfriends or girlfriends, you don't think like they're not memories that you cherish and remember often. And I guess in you talking about like this longing for having memories of a relationship, you kind of teach yourself to not think about those, because that's how the breakup process works. Is you retrain your brain to not constantly associate everything with them. And they become kind of, at least from my experience, like a little weird to think about. Like I can remember cuddling with my boyfriend from high school, but like it doesn't do much for me because I'm very over him.
Yeah.
And so there's like, I don't know, and not much of a value to those. So I think maybe you might be over romanticizing that.
No, I definitely am. I'm a very what are you doing?
I'm working both.
All right. Okay, you have control then. Fine. Okay. I'm a very like I sensationalize things in my mind. I'm a very like fantasy prone person, and I think that's part of the problem. I'm the kind of person who like I meet someone for 2 days and then I immediately fall in love with them.
I yelled at you for that once.
I know.
Maybe
I'm sorry
twice.
about
No,
that.
I'm sorry.
My brain just wants to do that because my brain's like, is it finally happening? But it's like, I think part of it, and I've been starting to get over this also, is that I always felt like I wasn't normal because of this, and maybe that's true. But I also don't think it's something that I should feel ashamed of. And I think that leads into another segment that another thing on my list is talking about incels. I think that like one of the things that causes like their anger, it is the like entitlement and stuff, but I think it's also like a feeling of like you're not normal and you need to fix this. Because that's a feeling I've had too. It's like there's a shame associated with not being in a romantic relationship if you're a young man. It's like because people put it on you like it's something that you do. Like a lot of people in my family would tell me like, why don't you have a girlfriend yet and stuff like that. And it's like that makes it sound like you think it's entirely up to me and not a mutual thing with another person. And so when I don't successfully get into a relationship, it makes me feel like I've failed instead of someone else has just decided not to do this with me. And I think that happens, like a lot of incels think that way. It's like...
That's very possessive.
Yeah, exactly.
Towards
it's
women
like
or
I've failed
partners in
at
general.
obtaining you.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like we came into this together.
I think this brings up one of the few benefits of sexism is that...
Oh, interesting.
Like, at
I
least...
like what it's
No,
saying.
hold on.
This is an interesting
It puts
turn.
them on
Hot
top where
take.
they belong.
Oh, boy.
It's just biology.
Okay.
And you know what Brady loves to say? Facts don't care about your feelings.
No. Please edit this
sorry.
out.
They're gonna break up with me live on air. It's
But
not
okay,
live.
going back to my point, one of the few like benefits, or I don't know, they're always like contra movements, but is that I went to like an all-girls high school and had like a mom who's generally aware and a grandma who's like quite feminist, in which it was like, you know, like don't let a guy get in charge of like or get ahead of your studies. Don't let a guy get ahead of your career. Don't let a guy get ahead of like what you are passionate about and what you are working towards. And so I feel like a lot of my friends who hadn't dated anyone in high school and into college, or I mean like even me, I was like, no, like I'm too busy. I'm busy focusing on my career and on my studies. And that's almost like a feminist stance that you guys you can, and people have, but there's very much this assumption that men can do both and without having to sacrifice. Whereas, like, we're still kind of upholding this, like, you can't be a mom and a CEO without having to give up something. Whereas, like, almost every CEO is a dad and married. And so in that way, you kind of have an excuse for not having a relationship because you're like, I'm focusing on my career.
That reminds me of something I heard my dad say years ago, I think, and it stuck with me. He was talking about one of his semesters in college, how he was really, really busy taking a lot of credits, and he was working, I think, like 4 part-time jobs. They're really small, but still 4 of them, like all that. And he said, and I had a girlfriend. And I was like, I never thought that would be a thing that would really take up some of your time, but I suppose you're right.
Yeah.
I'm not coming after anybody. Present company excluded.
That's interesting.
Mike doesn't take up too much of my time.
We don't even fuck.
Well,
not yet.
Anyway, it's close enough to an hour. No, just kidding.
What? How long has it been?
49. Michael, it says here and here.
It's been that long?
49 minutes, 51 seconds, 49
I guess it has been
53
that long.
seconds. Yeah, there's no disputing it, Mike. It's just a counting up timer.
Most of this should be cut, though.
Most of it?
Let's delete the episode.
No.
You have way too high standard for this. It is stream of consciousness.
What does most of it mean? Like, we only have 10 minutes?
Well, no, I mean, I don't know.
Don't listen to them.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being too critical. I don't know.
This is not one of your corporate overproduced.
This is not the Nostalgia Critic
podcast kind of situations.
This
but
is DIY homebrewed grassroots podcasts and like the pioneers did.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Maybe that should be our tagline.
Like no, it's think so hard it make you shit.
You're right. That's better. It's better because it's less intelligent.
Yeah.
Want to think of one more topic we can talk about?
Only if you think about it really hard.
I'm always hard. Let's see here.
Less blood to the brain.
You're right,
bro. You act more freely and naturally.
That's why I'm dumb. Oh, the Great Satan at Large.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Have time?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. Okay, this is the thing. I've known about this for a few years. It was really interesting to me. This so back when they used to do public broadcasting, like I mean, I guess
public access.
Public access. This guy, he made a show called The Great Satan at Large, and he put it on a Christian network, and it played in the night, like at 9 p.m. And it was like everything horrible you could possibly think. It was supposed to be like a talk show, but he was dressed up as Satan, and he sat at a desk with an American flag with a swastika on it.
Cool.
And he would get these guests in like crazy outfits, and he like ranted and screamed like a crazy drunk person. And then at the end of the show, in one of the episodes, like a masturbating priest came out, and he was actually like coming on live TV and stuff. And so that's what got him the obscenity charge that I was telling you about. And the cops chased him. You
can serve 40 years in prison for obscenity.
That's the maximum, I think, of that charge, is that you could be sent to prison for up to 40 years for an obscenity charge. And that's what he was going to be charged with. And so he ran from them, and he was basically homeless for a while until he caught a disease and died.
Is that how you want to go?
No. I mean, if I do, that's what happens. But what I'm saying is, like, thank you. We can become fugitives. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, you can be there too. You got to do something illegal first.
I got stuff to do.
That's why.
Okay, but like I thought of this because we were talking about my Hobby Lobby project, and the idea we figured out the only thing I could be charged with is littering, and I thought, well, they could also try to get me with an obscenity charge because I'm using pictures of mass murderers and domestic abuse, and I'm making more, and I'm probably going to do more extreme things too now that I'm thinking of it. And so that could be a potential thing that could stop people from wanting to help me.
I want to bring this up while Kaya's here because
Yeah.
I think they'll have some good input
Okay.
on it. I think what you're doing right now is really clever and disruptive in a very good way. You suggested Jesus in a gimp suit.
Yes.
That is not disruptive in a good way.
Why?
What is it saying? Well, are you doing it just to make people mad?
Well,
Because they will also get so mad about it that they will stop listening to you.
that's true. Well,
That's what I
mean,
think.
I think they will stop listening, but they could do that for anything.
Wait, explain to the plebs here what a gimp suit is.
Oh, very, very clever.
Watch Pulp Fiction.
I've seen.
BDSM mostly like everything is covered except the mouth.
Yeah, it's
And
like
orifices?
they vary. Black mask with a zipper. It's for BDSM. It's like the sub is wearing all the stuff, and it's like supposed to keep them from being able to like move as much, so that the other person can have control and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're like hanging from things. Sometimes it's like a dog head. So there's
Like skin fully covered or
show
not?
pictures.
Basically,
They're interesting.
I
Okay,
I switched
I
to
think I'm imagining what you guys are talking about.
I mean, you've probably
Control
seen
Shift
one. It's
P.
like a famous pop culture thing. Firefox.
This was in Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a gimp in that movie.
Swirt.
Gimp
Off
suit.
gimping. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah, bondage suit. I don't know where the word gimp came from. The dog ones scare me.
Oh yeah, with like the muzzles and
Yeah.
stuff.
Have you ever heard of? Is that
That's
supposed to be the
awful.
alien?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of like Pup
latex.
Life?
Do I want
Look
to?
up Pup Life right now. It's not. It's only a little bit worse than Gimp, but it's kind of
in images.
yeah, it's unsettling.
Is this people in cages?
No, it's like
Oh yikes!
yeah, it's like that's a sex thing. It's kind of like furries, but it's creepier. I'm not trying to shame anyone. It's just like the way it looks is very unsettling to me. Someone will play as a dog, and the other person's the master, and they always look like that aesthetic of like
Ooh.
painted on
Mm-hmm.
like dog stuff.
But then there's this image.
Nice little. That's such a cute. Look at his cute face. A cute little golden retriever.
Okay, so explain to me your thought process of putting Jesus in a gimp suit.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not necessarily gonna do this. It was just a random fleeting idea. I just thought like I want to do something to Jesus. So it was like I'll have Jesus on his cross, and maybe the twist is that the cross is like a BDSM thing.
That falls for me in the same as like, look, these things are arranged to make a uterus.
Oh, you think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, because there's this really interesting piece, I think that's called Piss Christ.
Piss Christ.
Yeah.
That's in the vein I was trying to go along with.
But I would say what
But it
Piss
kind of
Christ
looks beautiful at first.
has that you lack is one, it looks beautiful at first, and two, it like is a meditation on the body, and that. I mean, what I really enjoy about it is one, probably because he said something about it, is one that like religious people can see that as like a representation of the degradation of like religion within media. But what I really think is kind of fascinating and interesting about this piece is like a meditation on the body. And because like, at least in Catholic beliefs, is that like Jesus was 100% human and, you know, was like a human person, and he wasn't this weird like half perfection like
Supreme.
thing. He was a human being who pooped and also peed, and so
Poop and also pee from my Jesus?
Wow.
right, and so
What a guy.
and you know
What a hero.
it did like lived the human experience, and so to put like
Piss
to put
Christ on
the
a Supreme
crucifix, which is like this like incredible baseness and torture and et cetera, and to like put that into like a jar of pee is like not, I don't know, like it's, why is it bad? It's asking like, why is this bad? He is not above human body and human bodily functions.
Couldn't that be the same for my idea?
Well, no,
Like, you're
because
not above sexual desire or like baser urges, or the idea that like why is BDSM bad? You know.
yeah, but like Jesus wasn't. So
Well, it also wasn't in pee.
No, but he did. Like,
But he
sure,
didn't
like,
gimp.
and so, but he didn't. But he didn't gimp. And I guess I am fully here for you trying to question why BDSM is like censored or considered like weirder and awfuler than other sexual activity, or why sexual activity is considered like this taboo. I'm all for that. I just don't think, at least right now where this thought is, I don't think the image of Jesus has anything to do with the work.
Yeah, that's a good because I didn't come at it thinking about BDSM specifically. My thought process was I started with Jesus, and I was like, how can I twist Jesus? And because I wanted to do something subversive about that, and it's like, I understand what you're saying, and I could think of something more clever, and so I appreciate this criticism. But one thing I don't completely understand is, like, I know what you mean about like the making them so mad that they stop listening. But I don't know if what I'm trying to do is to make them listen necessarily. I think one of the things that I think is important about shocking art is that it shows who the authoritarians are. Because if you make shocking art and then somebody tries to censor it, then that makes them look bad. That makes them the authoritarians. If they're okay with it, then or they leave it or they respect it, then they're demonstrating that they're not the bad guys. And so if I do this and they make a big stink about it, or they try to vilify me for doing this or something, that's only going to make them look worse. And so that's kind of the idea. And the other thing that I think comes out of this is I'm not trying to change the minds of closed-minded people necessarily. If it happens, it happens. But what I want to do is I want to set an example for other people who feel the way I do, that they can express themselves in a similar or different way.
I think my main issue with the Jesus gimp suit thing, because that doesn't offend me personally, but your other ones are so clever.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I think probably the problem is I was thinking too hard. I was like, what can I do with Jesus? The other ones came naturally. They just kind of clicked together.
Yeah, so I think Jesus is fair game.
Yeah.
Jesus is
But I should come up with something a little more clever, I guess.
Yeah. I think you should just, your other ones are so much more subtle. They're not subtle, but they're, they are subtle.
That, like, piss Christ quality about them.
Yes, you look at them and you're like, this is odd. It's kind of appealing in a way. And I'm talking appealing in the way that kitsch is appealing.
Yeah.
So
like visually only.
Visually, and even that's, I look at kitsch and I'm like, this is disgusting, but
I
cannot stop thinking about it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like addictive in a weird way.
Yeah, it's like looking at a car crash. But, well, that's what I mean. Like, it's not, you wouldn't say it's beautiful, but in a way it is, because you can't stop looking at it.
And like I said in another podcast,
occupies your thoughts.
One of the ideas that I'm going with is like the whole David Lynch formula of taking something and then putting words to it, and the words change the meaning of what you're looking at, or the picture changes the meaning of the words.
And your first three,
because I don't know what words I would do for the the Jesus one.
The ones that aren't the belt, because that one's more straightforward.
That one's more straightforward, but I'm still gonna use it.
Oh, it's very good.
Like
yeah.
But that was before I had this whole concept like
the other two
manifested.
Tell me the belt one.
Oh, it was just an image that I drew, like a silhouette of a hand holding a belt, and in text over it, it says, "I work hard every day just to feed my nagging wife and her 3 ungrateful children."
It's really good.
Thanks.
I'm still thinking about, I don't know if I like No Girls Allowed with Elliot Rodger or talk show, or
No Girls Allowed with Elliot Rodger, and then everyone claps.
And then
all the
Obama
incels
was there,
clap.
yeah. Or Do You Believe in God with the Columbine shooters more. I don't know which one I like more, but they both have that Lynch quality of like, you have an image and the words make them sinister,
and extra
sinister.
That's what I love about it, and I'm still trying to put
sinister
together.
is what the other two are.
I see.
Or those what all of yours are that the gimp Jesus
one's
would
not
not be.
sinister.
It's just like it's just like sort of brash.
I see. It's
crass.
It's like crass. I see. I like the sinister ones, and I'm still trying to come up with one for. I forgot his name again. The guy who like raped a bunch of people and then he only got 3 months in jail because he's a white
Brock Turner.
swimmer.
I think he only raped one person, but I don't know. I don't know that.
I think it's one.
Oh, okay.
But he raped someone and got 3 months in jail.
The number doesn't matter that much.
True.
But and anyway, I'm gonna do something like that has to do with like boys will be boys.
I think that's perfect.
Or I had another idea that like, what if I just get like a generic like distressed woman's face or something, and do boys will be boys?
I don't think so. No, I think the Brock Turner is the way to go.
Okay.
I think it would be really interesting, and I know this is where this project was inspired, if you took direct quotes that you could find from Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. Well, boys will be boys is from Hobby Lobby.
It's
That's
from
a
their
direct
wall art.
Let me show you. This shit.
You haven't seen that?
I
Yeah,
went
it's
in there,
amazing.
and that's what gave me. I went into Hobby Lobby.
If you want to talk about Sinister.
Oh my god! And some of them are actually like not that far off from my belt one.
Yes, you are
so
flirting with.
scary.
Pose Law is carrying this project.
And well, that's why I'm in the mindset of doing something extreme. It's like so extreme that it has to break Pose Law.
There is no breaking Pose Law.
Well, I know, but in specific
Pose Law?
You can fix
The
it.
idea,
You can break it in specific context.
The idea that without knowing the author's intent, it's impossible to tell parody from genuine intent.
Because extremism is so extreme that you can't ever parodize it so far that it's not it's indistinguishable.
Without the author, creator, whatever, saying this is a parody, there's no way to tell for sure.
Yeah. I think maybe if you are really...
Like stuff like this. You know, Boys Will Be Boys. Or one of the worst ones I ever saw, which is what inspired the belt one, is this one says, Man Cave, a place where you keep all your favorite stuff and do what you want. It used to be called your life, but then you got married, so now it's just a room. So
it's
like,
incredible.
I used to enjoy my life, and then I have a wife now, and she ruins everything.
She must be having a great time. No, but I think
She's
going back
the
to the Jesus skimsuit one, I think if you start, and this is, I think, a little bit in how we work differently when being creative, but I think if you start with a concept, like what's something that bothers you and that you don't think deserves either the tabooness or the glorification, and then Jesus ends up being a symbol for either, that would work. But I do think you need to have a genuine, this is something that I do not believe deserves either debaseness or glorification, like baseness, debase, whatever.
Yeah.
Or glorification, because otherwise it falls flat. Like, it's kind of like seeing people dressed up as like slutty nuns to like talk about the Catholic Church, which I mean needs to be talked about in a good way. No, I said that wrong.
Well, see,
whatever.
I could do something Satan related, but then I was afraid that's too easy. It's easy to be really cheesy with that. And so if I'm gonna do something like that, I'm gonna have to do it really smartly. Like I could do something that would be talking about Jesus and then have that overlay an image of Baphomet or something.
I'm not following.
Like if it says like, I don't know, if there was a wall art or something that said like, let the Lord's light shine upon you or something, and it was those words, and then it was Baphomet instead of Jesus or something like that.
Baphomet is in the devil?
Yeah. But
Baphomet?
It's pronounced both ways.
Okay.
I've heard people say Baphomet more. Like a silent T.
Beelzebub.
That's like a one specific representation of them.
Now I have that recorded.
Yeah, no, and I think I think
I don't think Satanism should be as vilified as it is, and I know that really religious people are gonna freak out about stuff like that.
I would suggest the best ever death metal band by the Mountain Goats, which ends in Hail Satan, Hail Satan, Hail Satan.
That's a song?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard their song about goths and I liked it.
No, they have a lovely song about metal and how these two kids, whatever. You should listen to it. It's very great.
2 kids? Is it the people who liked Judas Priest and then they killed themselves?
No, no. Okay. I think it's just 2 kids that started a death metal band, and one of the kids gets sent off to like the psych ward facility because what he's doing is so wrong.
Yeah, I had a friend in elementary school who got sent home because he wore an AC/DC shirt. It was like stuff like that pisses me off so much.
Yeah, and anyways, the song ends in like this hypothetical. They get back together after all this trauma. They start the band and they get big because they're the best ever death metal band that came out of Denton. And it ends in like this hypothetical like concert is how I'm reading it, where it ends in hail Satan, hail Satan, hail Satan, but it becomes sort of like this chant for freedom and truth and beauty in its own way, which is almost like religious. Like it's a very religious chant in that kind of way.
Metalheads are really spiritual.
Didn't May make something last year that was just the devil is a Christian god repeated over and over?
I loved that.
Pretty good phrase.
She didn't ever release that work. At the time, she said because she was afraid of making people mad, and she told me now she's not afraid of that anymore, but she hasn't released them because she said she wants to go back and work on them.
I still think about that. I don't know if I'm sure, well, no, to her credit, I don't know, maybe she did come up with that.
Yeah.
But it was first I'd ever heard
I've never heard it either.
That phrase.
But what I was going back to for thinking about your Jesus piece is there's this really interesting art movement that I learned about, and I wouldn't call it a movement in like the grand high art way, but there's this like tendency of drawing like Jesus as this like crazy weird shirtless buff guy that's like, I don't know, like lifting cars and whatever. Like it's just like horribly kitsch.
I love that.
And like everyone in the class was horrified, but my theology teacher was kind of talking about it, and he's like, so often in like Protestant art, because let's put down the Protestants while you're at it. Like,
bro, my family's Protestant.
No, I know. It was talking about like this, like almost like vanillification of Jesus. Like he's this like sweet, soft boy who just like carries some sheep and like talks
Jesus was
to
the
children.
original soy boy.
Yeah. And how this extreme masculine Jesus is kind of a response to that, and I don't think either of those movements or tendencies really get to anywhere truly interesting, but I think it's an interesting, like, I don't know, tension that you could work with and put your own spin on it.
That's a good point. I will think about that, I think. That's interesting. I do like the idea of buff Jesus. I have a memory of being in Sunday school, and we were coloring in Jesus pictures, and I remember this kid was drawing Jesus with machine guns, and I thought that was really, maybe I should do that! Jesus with machine guns. What do you think? Because
the man preaches nonviolence.
You're right. And also,
preached.
That would be a statement about how, like, a lot of religious conservatives who, like, the stereotype of religious conservatives being very, like...
that one might actually appeal to people.
Well, that's
Microphone.
Yeah,
I think it shouldn't be a machine gun. I think it should be like a rifle or like a what are normal guns called?
Pistol,
like whatever people are trying to like.
Jesus got the
call
Glock.
for like Second Amendment rights, and then you should just say like American values, American family values, or some shit like that.
Well, I had one.
Never mind.
Said we don't call 911 and
with
had
the two
guns.
bullets, the revolvers.
What do you think of the idea of like it says
when Jesus says keep the peace, he's talking about the Glock. But no, it's spelled differently.
That's not a bad
idea.
It's
an auditory pun only.
Well, I had an idea of like, it says we don't call 911, and then it's like an image of like dead cops or something that I get off like Best Gore or something.
God, sites I intentionally avoid.
Wait,
or like Rotten.com.
Why would the cops be dead?
Because, well, cops have died before.
And they're going to do it again.
The idea is that it's something that saying we don't call 911 is something that they would agree with, but when I add the disturbing image of like real dead cops, that changes the meaning of we don't call 911 to like we use guns to fight the bad guys to these cops are incompetent and have been killed or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're trying to talk more about like incompetency?
Yeah, or also I just think like...
But I like to critique the police.
Go ahead, but for someone to say, I also think that would also offend people and make them mad because I feel like a lot of people who are conservative are very pro-cop. And so they wouldn't like to see that image.
The message there feels hazier to me.
Yeah?
Which might not be bad.
Maybe not, because that's also another one that was just kind of like in this nuclear fog in my brain that isn't fully like fleshed out.
Nuclear fog.
Nuclear frog.
Oh. Anyway,
criticize.
Well,
oh no, I was just gonna say
you could have like a we don't call 911 and have like represent a more community that's less protected, like I mean, there's
I'm thinking Black Lives Matter.
Well, I'm thinking like sanctuary cities, right?
Sanctuary cities.
So there's this whole thing about sanctuary cities in which sanctuary cities is basically where if you are an illegal immigrant and you go to the police about something, they won't arrest you for being an illegal immigrant right then and there. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that you're free of arrest always, but in that situation, you are free of arrest because you are going in to report a crime and you're working with the police. And so, like, a lot of people from, like, South America or Mexico who are illegal immigrants, like, women suffer from extreme domestic violence because they won't call the cops because they would get deported or their husband would get deported or their family would get deported. And so, like, these whole communities are unable to go to the quote-unquote authorities. No, untake the quotes.
Unquote that.
They are authorities.
Yeah, to go to the authorities and go to, like, the channels that were made in these situations because the authorities would turn on them as opposed to what they're trying to report.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons I like that idea, I'm a little bit afraid to draw on issues about, like, race and minorities because I'm a white guy, and I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done, but I don't like it when there's, like, a white person who makes art about, like, black people who were killed in police brutality, and it's like, look out, I'm a righteous white man. I care about the other minorities, and I don't want to present myself that way. I feel okay talking about school shooters because I'm a white guy with mental health issues, and so that's something that I can.
And you went to school even.
About. And I went to school even. Yes.
You run the table.
So that's why it tends to go in that direction.
Then that's fine. That's good. I respect that deeply.
Okay. Yeah.
That's just where my brain went first because I hear a lot about police brutality. Shootings.
Yeah, and police brutality happens to white people too.
Yes.
But it happens to black people and, like, people minorities more, and probably in most cases more severely, I would say.
But I respect that you are sensitive to the look of it all.
Yeah,
because this might not be the best look for me.
Exactly. It's like because obviously, like, I'm someone who I want to be offensive and I want to be shocking and challenge people, but obviously I think it's important to not just say whatever without thinking about it and just spewing things out that will offend everyone. It's like you have to be, if you want it to be worthwhile, you have to be smart. You have to know who you want to offend and why and how.
Pick your battles.
Pick your battle. It's like, I don't want to offend everyone because I don't feel like the whole world is against me. I feel like I want to offend people who want to censor me.
Yep.
Those are the people, and people who don't want to think and don't want to be challenged. Those are the people that I'm trying to challenge.
Expose power.
Yeah, it like I don't want to offend, because there's some people who, like, I just like things that offend everyone, and it's like, well, the only reason to want to offend people is if you feel like they're a threat to you. And so if you want to offend everyone, then you must feel like everyone's a threat to you, and that's probably not true no matter who you are, you know. So it's like that's why I don't say the N-word. You know, it's like because even though that would offend a lot of people, I don't see a good reason to do that.
Yeah, that is not a worthy cause to offend.
That's not punching up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just punching. It's punching out.
Yeah.
It's just swinging and seeing. It's swinging your arms and seeing what you hit. And I don't think that's as good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like the way you described that. Punching up is a phrase I first heard from you. And
really? I don't remember where I heard it, but I like it.
I also got comfort the disturbed. Disturb the comfortable from you.
I got that from someone else, but I don't know because it's been attributed to like 500 different people. So I don't know who said that.
Still cool.
I wrote that on my jacket, which I have right now.
Yeah, I saw that. I was looking at that earlier.
Yeah, we got have disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed on the other side.
Opposing sleeves of his spiked leather jacket with buttons on it, one of which says "Stop reading my button," and I got by that earlier today. It kind of made me mad.
I don't remember where that one came from, and one of them says 125 Jahre. It was from a German like Coke festival. Like it was their
Years.
Oh yeah, it was their 125th anniversary of Coca-Cola or something. So yeah. Anyway, enough about me.
Let's go do dishes.
Okay.
Hey,
is this a good way to time to wrap it up?
With dishes, there's not a better way.
Fuck yeah. All right. I love you.
It's gonna be a surfing summer.